everyone, and welcome back to Sean Synapse. I hold in my hand my predictions for the 2025 NFL Draft, the first 16 picks. So I'll do the first 16 picks this video, and the second half for the other 16 picks, the second video. Okay, so before we get to anything, how's everyone's bracket? You know, we're down to the final four. It's going to be exciting. The first game tips off here in just a few hours, and then the second game will follow, and we'll know who's in the championship by the end of this evening. And congratulations to South Carolina and UConn on the women's side to meet in the national championship. Okay, so all four number one seeds made it to the final four, and that's only happened one other time since 1979. That actually happened back in 2008 when it was Kansas, Memphis, North Carolina, and UCLA. The Final Four this year, all number one seeds, Florida, Auburn, Houston, and Duke. And I still have Florida and Duke playing in my national championship game, and Florida cutting down the nets. So let's see what happens. It's an exciting time. Okay, so if you remember, the trivia question from last time was, there's only two times in World Series history, or two seasons, where the World Series was not played. And I asked you if you knew the 2 years, or the two seasons. The first year was 1904, where the National League champion, then New York Giants, who are now the San Francisco Giants, refused to play the American League champion, the Boston Americans, who are now known as the Red Sox. And the reason they did that is due to a feud or a dispute between the two leagues. So they just said, you know what, we don't want to play. It sounded like they were a bunch of crybabies, if you will. And then in 1994, the most recent one, a lot of people are more familiar with this one. This was the Players' Strike, so no World Series during the Players' Strike. Okay, so welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft, which is Thursday, April 24th, through Saturday, April 26th. So we are getting close. It is right around the corner. Now what I'm going to do is like I had mentioned, I'm going to talk about the first 16 picks. I'm going to tell you, go in draft order. I'm not going to do any trades. I may throw a trade or two in there, but I'm not really focused on trades, just my predictions for the first 16 picks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the team, what draft pick they have, their needs, and then who I think they're going to take. Okay, with the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. And the Tennessee Titans need a quarterback. More importantly, they need a quarterback. They need a team that can lead that offense, or they need a player that can lead that offense and who's going to be around for a long, long time. Or the other option is they need some help on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this is a unanimous pick. I think a lot of people will agree with me. But I think the Tennessee Titans will take quarterback out of the University of Miami, Cam Ward. You know, he has a lot of physical traits, and I think he's ready to play at the next level. So with the first pick, the Tennessee Titans will select Cam Ward. With the second pick will be the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know the Cleveland Browns just gave a huge extension to Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett said he wanted to be traded. He didn't want to play for the Browns. He wanted to go somewhere and be a winner. Well, we all know he's not going to do much winning in Cleveland, so apparently it was all about the money. So the Browns are in need of a quarterback, offensive lineman, or edge rusher. I know they just got Kenny Pickett from the Eagles, but Kenny Pickett is more of a solid backup, as you saw throughout the year, than a starting quarterback. With that being said, I still think the Cleveland Browns, with the number 2 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, will select Abdul Carter, edge rusher, Penn State University. You know, this is probably one of the safest picks, if not the safest pick in the draft. He has explosiveness. He has power. Now, he's still maybe dealing with that foot issue, so that's something to monitor. But Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett on the edges together, they're going to need that, especially in that AFC North division, going against Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and whoever the Steelers quarterback is going to be. So Abdul Carter to the Cleveland Browns at number 2. The number 3 pick, with the third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants are on the clock. And the Giants need a quarterback, offensive line, and defensive help. Now, I know they just signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to contracts, and that may be a battle in camp, and depending on who, I still think Russell Wilson will be the number one quarterback and Winston will be the backup. But that's not a long-term solution at quarterback for the New York Giants. They also need, like I said, offensive line and defensive help. So I think they're going to go with the best player in the draft. And at this point, I think you have to. So with the third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants will take Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, Colorado. And I think if you pair him up with Malik Nabers at the wide receiver position and have him play some quarterback, I think he's going to be just fine in the NFL. With the number 4 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, we have the New England Patriots. And kind of in a nutshell, the New England Patriots, they need to protect Drake May. He had a phenomenal rookie season and played behind the worst offensive line in football. So the New England Patriots need offensive line help in a big way. And I think they're going to take offensive tackle Kelvin Banks out of the University of Texas. He's the best offensive tackle in the draft. He is number 1 on the list. He has good size, and he will be NFL ready. Moving on, we have the number 5 pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars need a lot of help on defense, especially at the defensive line position, the cornerback position, and the safety position. So I think with the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive lineman Mason Graham from the University of Michigan, who is a high motor player and will be ready to play from day 1. With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders will need a running back, wide receiver, or linebacker. They need a number 1 running back and a number 1 wide receiver combination for Geno Smith. Geno Smith needs weapons. And I think they're going to take the best running back in the draft. They're going to take Alshon Jeffrey, the running back from Boise State. A lot of people compare him to beast mode Marshawn Lynch. Imagine stopping that. With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets are on the clock. And the New York Jets need offensive line help, and they need a wide receiver. They just signed Justin Fields to a contract, so they need to get Justin Fields a lot of help. They need to protect him, or they need to get him another weapon that can go along with Garrett Wilson and the running backs. So I think with the 7th pick, the New York Jets will take Tatoria McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. That gives, like I said, Justin Fields another weapon, and like I said, he's going to need it. He's 6'4", a big catch radius, and he's a good complement, like I said, to Garrett Wilson. With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers are going to need a ton of defensive help. They actually ranked last in points and yardage allowed last season, so they need defensive help. And I think with the 8th pick, they're going to take edge rusher Mike Green out of the University of Marshall. Now, he needs to bulk up a little and work on some foot placement, but I think he's going to be okay getting around those offensive linemen. But yeah, Mike Green, edge rush, Marshall to Carolina at number 8. With the number 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints need a cornerback and a quarterback, especially with Kellen Moore coming in, now running that offense and running basically that team. So I think this is where the draft takes a slight little bit of a turn. I think the New Orleans Saints select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, the University of Colorado. He takes big hits. He's tough to bring down. He had 70% completion percentage in college. So he is accurate with the football, but he can hold on to the ball too long sometimes. So he needs to be careful with that. But Shedeur Sanders to the New Orleans Saints at number 9. With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears need offensive line help, edge rusher help, and running back help. Now, they're also, what's the future at left tackle? I mean, they really need to protect the quarterback. So what is the future at left tackle for the Chicago Bears? They need to protect Williams. All right, so and they also need a running back, I think, to complement DeAndre Swift. Kind of a 1-2 punch there. But I think they're going to take the second best offensive tackle in football, and they're going to take Will Campbell, offensive tackle, Louisiana State University. He's got an NFL caliber frame. He's ready to go. With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers need defensive line help, offensive line help, and another running back due to Christian McCaffrey being so injury prone, and he's got a lot of miles on him, so they really need to, kind of take some touches away from him, give him a break. Trent Williams is going to be 37, so that's something to keep in mind. And let's see. So with the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, I think the 49ers select Ahmad Membou, offensive tackle, Missouri. He's only 6'3", but he's one of the most reliable offensive tackles in all of college last year in 2024. So San Francisco will bulk up that offensive line, also to protect Brock Purdy, if you will. With the 12th pick, oh, my fellow Cowboy enemies, this is for you. With the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys need wide receiver help, running back help, and they need help in the secondary. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys don't really have a major weapon at offense, so they may need a second wide receiver. I believe they lost Brandon Cooks. And they did sign Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, but those are complementary pieces. They need a number one running back. However, I think they can take a cornerback and get help in the secondary, especially in that division with top wide receivers. They're going to take Jahdae Barron, cornerback, Texas, who ran a 4.39 40-yard dash. This guy's a speedster. He can take the top off of, he's just very fast. And he's very experienced, and he's well built. So Dallas shores up their secondary. With the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins need a lot of help. Offensive line help, defensive line help. And I think they're going to take Tyler Booker, offensive lineman from the University of Alabama, 6'5", 325 pounds. This guy's an elite monster. He's a big freaking boy. With the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, I think this is where we're going to see our first tight end drafted. The Indianapolis Colts need tight end help, and they need offensive line help. They have to protect whoever the heck their quarterback's going to be for the future. Maybe Anthony Richardson, maybe somebody else down the road in another round or in the next few years. But I think that the Indianapolis Colts will take tight end Tyler Warren out of the University of Penn State. He accounted for almost 50% of Penn State's offense last season. He's tall, he's well built, he's got great hands. What a great pick for the Indianapolis Colts at 14. With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons need an edge rusher, defensive line, cornerback. They ranked last in quarterback pressures last year. So they had a hard time getting to the quarterback, which I think ultimately led them to not winning the division. And I think they will take Shamir Stewart, defensive lineman, Texas A&M. He's enormous. He's big boy, and he's a freak of nature. And with the final pick of the first half of the 2025 NFL Draft, the 16th pick goes to the Arizona Cardinals, who need offensive line help, a wide receiver, and an edge rusher. And I think the Arizona Cardinals will select edge rusher Jalen Walker from the University of Georgia. He can line up anywhere on that defensive line, so he's going to be kind of hard to pinpoint, kind of like Micah Parsons on the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to wreak havoc. A lot of people compare him to Kyle Van Noy. Okay, so we've just gone over the first 16 picks in the NFL Draft, what I think is my mock draft, if you will. And we will do a second video in the next couple days of the second half of the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Let me know in the comments what you think, if there's going to be any trades, maybe who you team's going to take that maybe I didn't predict. And then no trivia question for today. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Get your friends to watch. Get your friends to subscribe. I'm out of here.